This is the planet Earth. It contains a human population of 7.7 billion. Many years ago, the Earth was green, the water was clear, and the air was fresh. But just like what I said years ago, now this is what the Earth looks like. Vast instances of pollution. Miles and miles of debris and people living in excess. With carbon emissions and depletion of non-renewable resources, these are only few of the factors why Earth is at its state right now. But the main factor why all of this happened is because of our irresponsibility. We are irresponsible, and here are the evidences. The world generates 3.5 million tons of plastic and other solid waste a day, 10 times the amount of a century ago. According to the World Bank Researches and Ocean Conservancy Policy, the United States of America is the king of trash, while China is the biggest ocean polluter. It is said that USA generates 10.5 million tons of plastic waste a year, but recycle only 1 or 2% of it, while China generates 3.53 million tons of plastic waste annually that usually ends up in the ocean. An estimated 14 billion pounds of trash, which are most plastic, is dumped in the world's ocean every year, killing as many as 1 million marine animals and birds. Humans also become irresponsible with food and carbon emissions. It was stated that 1.3 billion tons of food is wasted every year, while almost 2 billion go hungry or undernourished. Coal, oil, and natural gas, these non-renewable fuels supply about 80% of the world's energy for electricity, heat, and transportation, and these cause the increase of carbon emissions in our planet. According to the U.S. Energy Information Administration, or the EIA, U.S. crude oil exports continue to increase, rising to almost 50% compared to the past years. And it's not just developed countries which are accountable for these. Even developing countries like the Philippines also contribute to this issue. The Philippines is said to be the third largest contributor to ocean pollution after Indonesia, and this is globally. The Philippines produce about 2 million tons of plastic waste, and 800,000 tons of this ends up in the ocean every year. All of this is due to lack of proper disposal facilities provided by the authorities, combined with plain discipline on the part of the public. And in terms of food wastage, according to PhilippineNews.com, 36 million families experience involuntary hunger at least once a month, and yet Filipinos waste rice enough to feed 4.3 million Filipino people. So much food is created, yet hunger is widespread. The Philippines also contributes 157.6 million metric tons of carbon dioxide emission, and it jumps up to almost 53% over the decade. Although all hope seems lost, these countries who formerly contribute mainly on the issue are becoming accountable for their actions and have started doing something. For example, China, who was once one of the biggest countries who rely on coal. Now they are the biggest solar energy producers in the world. Even the Philippines have the Department of Environment and Natural Resources, which impose programs on taking care of our environment. Each individual must also be responsible and take action. You may think that you alone can't make a difference, but if we all learn how to dispose our garbage properly, get to know the rules of recycling, and avoid plastic no matter how huge our planet is, we can still make a difference. We just need the ability to respond.